Colorado takes on the Reds. 6:40 Eastern first pitch in Cincinnati. The Reds are minus 135, totals 8.5. Now we did see a nickel move toward the Reds in the early wagering. They opened $1.30 up to 135, totals at 8.5. 66% of the consensus is leaning toward Cincinnati. 65% shaded toward the under. Right now, Colorado is plus 115 on the money line. The Reds are plus 135 on the run line. We have German Marquez for the Rockies, Luis Castillo for the Reds. Now, Castillo comes into this game with a 9-3 record, 2.36 ERA, and a 1.11 whip. He also has 138 strikeouts thus far on the year. Now, Marquez on the other side for the Rockies, he comes into this matchup with a 4.99 ERA and a 1.26 ERA as well, a 1.26 whip as well. Now, Cincinnati is 6-10 as the official home favorite. They're winning 67% of their games at the current market price. They rank 5th in runs allowed on average per game and 3rd in striking batters out. Now, Colorado on the other side, they're last in the NL West, 8 games under 500 at just 47-55 overall for the year. They're also 19 games back in that division. Now, not faring too well on the road either. Winners in just 21 out of 52 away from home. The Rockies are second to last in Major League Baseball in striking out when traveling. They're also dead last in road hits. Now, total-wise, Colorado is 31-21 to the under when traveling. The Reds on the other side, 75% to the under when Castillo makes the start. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Cincinnati minus 135 and the under 8.5 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Friday's Major League Baseball action. Happy Friday. The weekend is already here. Very excited for that. Now, before we go ahead and move on, just got to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And we are doing absolutely phenomenal in our Daily Double membership. If you're a member of the Daily Double, you've been cashing in tickets for the last, about a month. So Daily Double, absolutely crushing it. Check that out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and slide back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Braves taking on the Phillies, 7:05 Eastern first pitch at Citizens Bank Park in South Philly. Now, the Braves are favored on the road in this matchup here. They're minus 130 on the money line, totals at 10. We did see a 15-cent move toward Atlanta and movement upward on the total. The Braves open minus 115 up to 130. Total open 9.5 up to 10 even. 86% of the consensus is leaning toward the Braves. And at the moment, the Phillies are plus 120 on the money line. The Braves plus $1.20 on the run line. We have Mike Soroka for the Braves, Jake Arrieta for the Phils. Now, Arrieta's 8-7 on the year with 91 strikeouts. The Fightin' Phils are just one game back of that second wildcard spot. They're also pretty good at home this year, 30-21 at Citizens Bank Park. Winners in 5 out of their last 6 ball games. They're also 5-0 in their last 5 at home, taking on the Braves. The Phils are second in home walks, 12-8 when Arrieta makes the start. They're also winning 67% of their games following a day off. Now, the Braves on the other side, a little bit different story. Winners in just 4 out of 9 head-to-head matchups with Philadelphia this year. They've also won just 3 out of 15 ball games following a day off. A little bit sluggish following an off day. Now, the Braves have dropped 6 out of their last 8 games. They rank 29th in walks allowed on average per game, which is second to last in Major League Baseball in that category. Now, total-wise, the Braves are 67% to the under on the road when the line was 9 or higher. The Phillies on the other side, 60% to the under following a day off. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the Fightin' Phils plus 1.5 and the under 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Dodgers, Nationals, 7:05 Washington. The Dodgers are minus 165, totals at 9. We saw a 10-cent move toward the Dodgers. No movement on the total as of yet. The Dodgers open $1.55 up to 165. totals at 9. 81% of the consensus is leaning toward Los Angeles. And at the moment, the Nats are plus 155 at home. The Dodgers minus 105 on the run line. We have Hyun-Jin Ryu for the Dodgers, Anibal Sanchez for the Nats. Sanchez comes into this game with a 6-6 record, 3.80 ERA, and 81 strikeouts. Now, the Nats are first in the wild card standings in the National League. They are 55-46 overall for the year. They're also 29-20 at home. Winners in 4 out of their last 5 ball games. The Nats are 6th in striking batters out on average per game. They're also 8th in home hits. Now, the Dodgers on the other side, they've lost their last 2 straight. They're also just 22-28 against the spread away from home. 2-2 in their last 4 taking on the Nationals. Now, before I go ahead and move on, I just got to quickly remind you guys that I'm recording this video on Thursday. So right now, at this actual second, it's Thursday afternoon. We're just getting some games finished up here for Thursday's action. So if these stats seem maybe a day off, that's because they are. Once again, I'm recording this video on Thursday, July 25th. But anyway, back to this game. We have some stats on the total here. The Dodgers are 8-5 to the under following a day off. The Nats are 9-5 to the over, taking on teams allowing less than 3.9 runs per contest. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the Nats plus 1.5 and the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rays, Blue Jays, 707 Toronto. The Rays are minus 145, totals 9.5. We saw a 10-cent fade of Tampa Bay in the early wagering here. The Rays opened $1.55 down to 145, totals at 9.5. 78% are leaning toward Tampa Bay. Now, right now, the Blue Jays are plus 135 on the money line. The Rays are plus $1 on the run line. We have Diego Castillo for the Rays, Jake Waguespack for the Blue Jays. Waguespack comes into this game with a 5.68 ERA and a 1.47 WHIP. Meanwhile, Castillo on the other side for the Rays, 3.96 ERA, mostly in relief. He also has 48 strikeouts in just 38 innings pitched. Now, Toronto is 28.5 games back in the AL East. I don't even know why I wrote that down, but they are 39-65 overall for the year, which puts them at 26 games under 500. They've also won just 19 out of 51 games at home. They rank dead last in hits on average per game. They're also dead last in walks allowed per game as well. Toronto's won just 3 out of 15 games, taking on teams allowing less than 3.9 runs per contest. They've also won just 9 out of 26 ball games played at the current market price. Now, the Rays on the other side, 5-1 taking on Toronto this year. They're also 21-11 as the official road favorite. They're 30-16 taking on teams under 460. The Rays are second in the AL East, 58-47 overall, 11 games over 500. They're also 1 game back in that second wild card spot in the American League. Now, total-wise, Tampa Bay is 21-10 to the under when the line was 9 or higher. Toronto 5-1 to the under in their last 6 at home. All that said and done, I'm going to lean Tampa Bay minus 145 in the under. 9.5 runs in that game. All right, next matchup. Diamondbacks, Marlins, 7-10 Miami. The D-backs are minus 165 on the road. Totals at 7.5. We saw a nickel move of Arizona, a nickel fade of Arizona in the early wagering. The D-backs open 170 down to 165. Totals at 7.5. Right now, the Marlins are plus 155 on the money line. The D-backs plus $1 on the run line. We have Zach Greinke for the D-backs, Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins. Alcantara's 4.9 on the year, 4.25 ERA, and a 1.45 WHIP. Greinke on the other side, 10-4 on the year, 2.93 ERA, and a 0.95 WHIP for the D-backs. Now, Miami has the most losses in the National League, 62 of them. They're just 38-62 overall for the year. That's going to put them at 24 games under 500. They've also won just 18 out of 50 ball games at home. The Marlins rank dead last in scoring on average per game. They're also 28th in hits, and they've won just 5 out of 27 ball games played at the current market price. Now, the Diamondbacks on the other side, completely different story. And as a matter of fact, they're winning 80% of their games as the official road favorite. They're also winning 79% of their games following a day off. Very well rested. Now, total-wise, Arizona 69% to the over at the current total, 18-9 to the over, taking on teams under 460. The Marlins on the other side, 30-20 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Arizona Diamondbacks minus 165 and the over 7.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Yankees Red